Thanks for joining San Diego State University's Tobacco Product Waste Reduction Project team. Your volunteer commitment will help resolve the problem of tobacco product waste countywide. My name is Nalima Joshi, and I'm excited to orient you to the Tobacco Product Waste Reduction Project. During the next half hour, you will meet our project team members, hear about our project goals, and learn about tobacco product waste, what it is, and why it's harmful, and finally the nuts and bolts of our project. This orientation is the first part of our volunteer training. The second part of the training actually happens at a data collection event. New volunteers receive detailed instructions about the actual data collection protocol, but more about that later. I'm going to start by introducing you to our team. Our leader is Dr. Jorg Matt. He is a professor of psychology and a researcher with more than 20 years researching tobacco, specifically third-hand smoke. Third-hand smoke is the mixture of toxic chemicals that remain indoors after smoking stops. Dr. Joe Gibbons is a professor of sociology. His expertise is in land use, geocoding, and mapping, which you will soon find out are fundamental to this project. Dr. Tom Novotny is a professor emeritus from SDSU's School of Public Health. He has many years of expertise relating to researching the toxicity of tobacco product waste. Dr. Lydia Greiner is an adjunct professor of psychology and the project coordinator. She has expertise in community-based research, and she's responsible for day-to-day management of the project. Funding for this project comes from the California's Tobacco-Related Disease Research Program. We'd love to introduce you to our team of research assistants who do the actual data collection. You will be working alongside the research assistants, several of whom are undergraduate and graduate students at SDSU. They're all looking forward to meeting you. In our team photo, beginning from left to right, is Sam, Maddie, Aranza, myself, Nalima, Mars, and Rebecca. Sam, Rebecca, and I are proud SDSU grads. Maddie and Mars are graduate students, and Aranza, the newest member of our team, is in her second year at SDSU. Jennifer Dill, our volunteer coordinator, is on the left with her email address, as she is your primary contact. Before we jump into a discussion of tobacco product waste, here's a very brief overview of this 3-year project. Working with local communities to reduce tobacco product waste, our team will map the distribution of tobacco product waste to show how the waste is distributed throughout San Diego County, identify factors that predict the distribution of the waste, such as land use or socioeconomic characteristics, and share results with communities to develop solutions. Community involvement is an important part of this project. We want to engage with individuals all over San Diego County to find sustainable solutions to address this problem of tobacco product waste. Now, let's talk about tobacco product waste. Everyone has seen litter like this along streets, sidewalks, and parking lots, as well as in our parks and rivers, streams, lakes, and beaches. Of course, what we see on city streets ends up in our storm drains and ultimately our waterways. Tobacco product waste is 1/3 or more by count of all the litter found on beaches and other aquatic environments. Most people don't think about tobacco product waste at all, and if they do, they just think about cigarette butts. And that makes sense since cigarette butts are the single most littered item in California. Cigarette butts are a big component of tobacco product waste. At first glance, this photo appears to capture a lot of leaves and dirt. When you take a closer look, there are actually 6 cigarette butts in the debris. Can you find them? Cigarette butts come in many different forms and levels of degradation. On the left, you can see two typical, easily identifiable cigarette butts, and another one in the lower left corner that is degraded. And we wanted to show you some of the clever ways they are hidden from sight. We find them curled up and discarded creatively in water bottles, and even stuck in the holes in signposts. Inside the cigarette butt is usually a filter. Many look like they're made of soft, cottony fibers, like the third photo on the top row. Below are two that have deteriorated. The one on the left looks like a clean, white plastic tube. The one on the right looks like fluffy cotton. It's actually cellulose acetate, or plastic. As these filters weather, they become gray and often flat. In both cases, the older they get, the more they blend into the surrounding surface. The photo at the far right is a butt from an unfiltered cigarette. The Pall Mall brand appears in a faint gray print on the wrapper. These are unusual in California, where the vast majority of cigarettes sold are filtered. But tobacco waste is more than just cigarette butts. On the left, we see cigarette curtains and a cigar tin. This packaging, even the cellophane wrappers on the cigarette curtains, is part of tobacco product waste. The unsmoked ends of cigars, plastic cigar tips, and their colorful wrappers, shown in the center of the slide, are other kinds of tobacco product waste. Smokeless tobacco is also popular. Tins, shown in the bottom right-hand corner, and more snus add to the waste. Some snus look like small tea bags. After they are used, they are brown from the tobacco juice. Others are white and contain small white beads of nicotine. They do not change color with use, but stay white. Snus are in the upper right-hand corner of the slide. They are small, less than an inch long, and hard to find. Any and all components of e-cigarettes, their packaging, and advertising make up a growing part of tobacco product waste. On the left side of the slide, you can see that the pens come in various shapes and colors. There is light blue, silver, and bright green in that photo, and they have parts, like the red cap, and a wide variety of packaging and product information. In the center of the slide are some photos of what this waste looks like when it's been in the weather. The flat silver pen has been flattened by cars rolling over it, and its cap is loose. The pink vape has also been flattened by a car, and it's extruding its component parts. Last, some examples of product packaging in its many colors and brands. Cannabis, both smoked and edibles, contribute as well. On the upper left are a few cannabis blunts, often discarded just like cigarette butts. Cannabis is dispensed in colorful plastic containers like those used for medications, shown in the center, and edibles come in packaging that looks like various types of popular candy brands. Of course, like any other product, there is advertising, as shown in the lower left, which is another type of tobacco product waste. Finally, some tobacco product waste is used for different kinds of products. For example, lighters, matches, and rolling papers can be used for tobacco or cannabis. In the lower left is a hand-rolled butt for tobacco or cannabis. All of this waste is unsightly, but that is not the only problem. Cigarette butts make up the largest proportion of tobacco product waste. Virtually all of the cigarettes sold in California contain filters. Filters are a big problem. Filters are made of cellulose acetate, which is plastic, even though they may look like soft cottony fibers. These acetate filters degrade slowly and persist in the environment. Eventually, radiation breaks up filters into much smaller pieces, but bits of plastic persist. And that's not all. Filters retain toxic chemicals, which also remain in the environment. These chemicals are toxic to fresh and saltwater fish and contain dangerous chemicals such as tobacco-specific nitrosamines, also known as TSNAs, heavy metals, and nicotine. Data from STSU researchers suggests that they may bioaccumulate in marine and freshwater organisms. Electronic cigarettes, or vapes, present another set of issues. The nicotine liquid in vapes is a regulated biohazard. Disposable vapes, when discarded, can contain liquid nicotine. Also, the batteries and electronic components of the vapes a regulated electronic waste. This toxic waste presents new challenges to communities, for example, in schools, where vape products are confiscated from students. Hazardous waste disposal can become an issue. The hazards presented by this toxic waste is recognized by Cal EPA, which is the California Environmental Protection Agency. By the end of this decade, California's State Water Resources Control Board will require all cities to prevent particles 5 millimeters or larger from entering our storm drain. To visualize, 5 millimeters is less than a quarter of an inch long. To meet this deadline, municipalities all over California need to plan now for modifications to prevent cigarette butts and other tobacco product waste from entering our storm drain. This regulation is outlined in the amendment of the Water Quality Control Plan for Ocean Waters of California. If you would like to read more about it, you can access the plan and the amendment using the links on the slide. Not only is tobacco product waste hazardous, but also very costly to clean up. San Diego State University's Dr. Thomas Novotny, who you met as part of our team, led a group of researchers in a study to estimate the cost of cleaning up tobacco product waste. The results of their study was published in June 2020 in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. Their study suggested that based on models from 30 large cities across the United States, the cost of cleaning tobacco product waste ranged from $4 to $90 million each year. Now that you've heard about the problem of tobacco product waste, we would like to tell you about our project. We are working in selected locations throughout San Diego County to systematically collect and measure tobacco product waste so that we can map its distribution and identify land use and socioeconomic characteristics that may influence that distribution. We will then use this information to develop sustainable solutions with communities. Step 1 of this project is to engage community leaders. We plan to carry out this project in 8 cities in San Diego County. As shown on the map, these cities are Oceanside, Carlsbad, Vista, San Marcos, Escondido, El Cajon, San Diego, and Chula Vista. Why these 8? They're all part of the CDC, or Center for Disease Control's 500 Cities Initiative. The 500 Cities Initiative collects data about chronic disease related to unhealthy behaviors, health outcomes, and use of preventive services. These characteristics will be helpful as we try to understand both the community factors that influence tobacco product waste distribution and the impacts of tobacco product waste on communities. To begin this project, we introduced it to elected officials, community leaders, and tobacco control advocates in these 8 cities. We're happy to report that we've had a very positive response across the county. Step 2 is to engage with community residents, people like yourself who are interested in the problem of tobacco product waste in your own community. We have several strategies to help us engage with community residents. We're reaching out to local organizations such as the Department of Public Health, the Tobacco Control Coalition, and Say San Diego, which are all organizations dedicated to tobacco control. But we are also reaching out to environmental groups such as Surf Riders, Sierra Club, Coastkeeper, and local universities including Cal State San Marcos, and of course, SDSU. We're also growing, we hope, an online presence. We have a website, and we also have Facebook and Instagram accounts. We hope you will follow us and share our posts. Our website is a good place to get information updates about the project. Hopefully, volunteers like you from all over the county will become involved in all aspects of the project, from education of communities to data collection and problem solving. The third step in the project was to select the census blocks for data collection. From all of the census blocks in the 8 cities, we randomly selected 120. We planned ahead so that we had a mix of land use and socioeconomic characteristics. There are 6 different types of land use. We will show you each type in just a minute, and we selected 20 of each type. Half of each type of land use are from neighborhoods with higher incomes, and half are from neighborhoods with lower incomes. One land use type is low-density residential, which is primarily single-family homes without condos or apartments. Another type is mixed high and low density residential. This category includes apartments or condos with or without single family housing. The requirement for this category is that there must be some multi-unit housing. A third category is mixed entertainment, which means there are some restaurants, bars, gyms, coffee shops, comedy clubs, or the like in the census block. There may or may not be housing or other retail in the mixed entertainment category. And the fourth category is mixed parks. This category includes at least one park, playground, or beach. Like the mixed entertainment category, there may or may not be housing or other retail in the mixed parks category. The last two categories are mixed miscellaneous. Mixed miscellaneous refers to offices, schools, hospitals, retail, gas stations, churches, and other similar facilities, including office parks, manufacturing, and storage. Mixed miscellaneous residential includes some kind of housing. Mixed miscellaneous non-residential does not. Step 4 is collection of data, where our volunteers play an important role. Before we collect tobacco product waste, our research assistants go to the block and record information about land use, surface area, and determine the boundaries of collection. We obtain the street sweeping schedule and monitor rainfall, since both will influence the amount of tobacco product waste we collect. The assessment also includes selecting a meetup spot, locating parking spots, and selecting a navigation address. As a volunteer, you'll be contributing to the collection of tobacco product waste, which is the data for this project. We use iPads to geocode and photograph all tobacco product waste on public walkways around and within each census block. Each piece of tobacco product waste is categorized, counted, photographed, collected, weighed, and then disposed. This is the most labor-intensive part of the data collection, but also the most challenging and fun. We're collecting data in 2 to 3 blocks each week. Each data collection activity takes about 3 to 4 weeks. We work in teams on each street. Our data collection teams are organized in groups of 3 or 4 people. Each team member is assigned a specific task that include finding and identifying the tobacco product waste, photographing and coding the waste, picking up and categorizing the waste, removing and raking the debris, including leaves and trash that may cover or hide tobacco product waste, and trash removal, of course. I've been talking about collecting data in census blocks. A census block is different from a regular city block. Here's what a census block looks like. The yellow lines mark the periphery. We safely collect waste on the sidewalk, curb strip, and 18 inches into the street on the periphery. We also collect waste in areas that are inside the census block, such as the parking lot in orange, alleys, and other quasi-public areas. Research assistants mark the boundaries of the areas with chalk in advance of the actual collection. To categorize and count the tobacco product waste, our data, we use an iPad and a program called Quick Capture. We also use it to record land use and other characteristics of the census blocks, for example, bus stops, schools, and smoke shops. The iPad Quick Capture screen looks like the image on the right. Step 5 is the final step of the project. First, we will map the distribution of tobacco product waste using the data we collect. On the right, you can see an example of the map of one census block. The purple, red, and blue dots represent different types of tobacco product waste, with purple being cigarette butts. Clearly, cigarette butts are the most frequently encountered waste product. We will then analyze the data to identify factors that predict distribution of the tobacco product waste so that we can share data with communities and brainstorm solutions to reduce and eliminate waste. It is with our intent that the protocol we develop and test will be useful to other communities that want to better understand this problem and identify solutions that work for their particular areas. On collection day, we prepare to spend about 2 to 3 hours walking and standing, often in the sun, while wearing a safety vest and nitrile gloves, carrying buckets and or grabbers. Safety vest, gloves, grabbers, long tweezers, and all other equipment are provided. To have the best day possible, you should bring a photo ID just in case of emergencies. Wear comfortable walking shoes, preferably closed-toe shoes and no flip-flops. Use sun protection, hat, sunglasses, sunscreen. Carry water, preferably in a reusable water bottle. Leave everything except your phone ID and water bottle in your car. We have a cart for your water bottles. Be sure you have Jennifer's contact information available in case of unanticipated glitches. And be ready to have a great day. If you have any questions, email jdill@sdsu.edu. San Diego State University is concerned about safety for all. Full vaccination and booster shots are required for students, faculty, and staff. Volunteers are considered staff. SDSU Research Foundation Human Resources will ask you to upload your vaccination status prior to approving your application. Congratulations! You've completed the orientation for the Tobacco Product Waste Reduction Project. These slides and the recording are available on our website for you to review anytime you wish. Now for the information about Part 2 that we promised you at the start of this session. The second part of the training actually happens at a data collection event. You can expect 3 things at this training. 1. An overview of the project, including a review of types of tobacco product waste. We will give you a pocket guide with pictures, and we will review safety protocols, including always looking out for traffic when collecting curbside waste and always using crosswalks. 2. Research assistants will demonstrate exactly how we find, count, categorize, and collect each type of waste. 3. You will work as a part of a team, each person assigned specific tasks to collect data according to our protocol. You may schedule your on-site training at any data collection event. Volunteer coordinator Jennifer Dill will send you an email invitations that include upcoming data collection events. Usually this information is available 2 weeks in advance. Let Jennifer know when you want to participate, and she will provide you with specific details about the location. Once you've completed your on-site training, you will begin receiving Google Calendar invitations to all data collection events. We ask that you kindly accept or decline to help us keep an accurate count of participants. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you at our next data collection event. And remember, if you have any questions, just email Jennifer at jdeal@sdsu.